What's good, everybody? What's good, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Mama Knows Best, Sorta, episode 46. And guess what? I'm already irritated, right, about this episode. I was bullied into having this nigga Eric on, okay? He come on here looking like a goddamn mango, okay? So I thought that if we did have Mama on, that I get to pick the guest. But because Mama make more money than me, okay, shout out Mama and her ridiculous program manager job, whatever job she got, I don't know what it is. But because she pay more money on the podcast, she feel like she can dictate who could be on here. And guess what she picked? She didn't pick one of her friends. She picked this nigga Eric. Okay, so I'm already irritated that Eric is on here, but thank God. My brother, Rez, okay? The person, the backbone of MKB, the person that edits the videos, the person that puts the thumbnails out, the person that make this podcast go. And my dear brother, okay, is on the podcast. So I think it might be a 2v1. Eric, how you feeling about this setup right now?
Oh man, I can take y'all no problem, dog. I don't even need to tag nobody. I got y'all one on two.
Rez, how you feeling, dog? How you feeling?
Man, I'm feeling great, man. It's gonna get ugly.
hey, I talk tough over the internet. Okay, I don't got to see Eric for probably 3 or 4 months. So I'm gonna talk tough today. If I was in person, I'll probably be a little bit more.
No, we gonna see you in October. We gonna see you in October on Halloween.
Oh yeah, never. Oh snap. Okay. Maybe you
watch your mouth.
He stepping on me. You better not step on me on my podcast. You better not step on me. You better not step on me on my podcast. You put that drink down. But no, shout out to Rez for the thumbnail and the title. We're talking about being black in America, what that represents. Should someone want to live in America if they're black? So, that's the number one question. I want to go to you first, Eric, right? As a black man, being in America a lot longer than us, no jokes intended. You've seen a lot more than us as far as experience, knowing history as well. Should a black person want to live in America?
So I'm going to say, actually, it depends. And what it depends on is how much of your history do you really know? What is your pride, like, self-esteem? So the one thing we got to deal with is we built this country, okay? Chattel slavery, King Cotton built this country. We from the industrial north to the south, like all the money came from our backs, our labor, our free labor, okay? So if you understand that, and also you have to understand that, pride comes from a racial group. Well, there's no such thing as race, but for this argument, for a racial group, their history, where they came from, what they brought to this country. Okay. Another thing we got to realize is that some of us was already here. Not every black person came over here on slave ships. Some of us were already here. So this is essentially our country, our land. Okay. Now, if you're going to say, for instance, for me, right, I got an issue with the systemic racism in this country, right? Why would somebody really want to live here if you're not welcome here? If you don't have any real rights here, okay? So now I will say this: in other countries, is less racist than the United States, but the United States is the most racist country in the world.
Oh, that's where I got to step in, man. You started off. Oh, guys, taking it simple. You so goddamn disrespectful. The first minute and a half, it sounded good, but I think I had to credit ChatGPT for your answer. Okay, So the first minute and a half, you scripted it out, but as soon as all your script went out for ChatGPT, okay, because you use all your free uses for the day, once your script went out, you went totally too far. I agree. Indigenous people are already here already, right? And it's a great point. The black people, right? This country is built off of the back of slaves, 100%, right? But in 2025, there is a wealth of opportunities for black men, black women, and young black children in America. And we have to get away from that mindset of systemic racism, the mindset of look at this white systematic structure, right? Because all that is represented is mental captivity, because we have the ability, especially with technology, right? How interconnected we are. We have the ability to carve out success within our community and for individuals. There are other minority groups of people, right? The Chinese, Hispanics, other cultures that come in here, and they don't make excuses. They band together, they come together, right? And they make no excuses. They like, I'm going to find my niche here, and I'm going to put my head down, work, and create a living for myself. For us Black people, we have been brainwashed to think that we can never accomplish what the white man can accomplish. We can never accomplish what the white woman is accomplishing. And we get so focused on the white structure instead of focusing on how can we build the Black structure. Go ahead, Rez.
Okay, so just first off, the systemic racism thing, I truly do believe that this is a myth, and that this is
Oh my
something
God.
that
Where the
it just
hell you get it? Man, come on,
it just
man.
doesn't exist. So hold on, I got a question for you, Eric. So on paper, hold on paper, what can a white man, Hispanic man, or Asian man do that you can't do on paper?
But that's not the definition of systemic
That's what's
racism.
but
It's
a
not
system
about
is
my
something that's in
abilities. It's not
place.
about my abilities. It's the system that's put in place. It's the criminal justice system. Black people get higher sentences for the same crime as white folks do. Okay, the school to prison pipeline. We get suspended, expelled for smaller shit than what white people do, and we end up getting records. We end up can't get a job, and we end up in the prison pipeline. Okay, look at the educational system.
But these aren't structured things. But there's also, hold on, there's a few things behind it. So 1940, there was actual systemic racism because there was a difference between what bathroom you can use, what water fountain you could drink from, and this type of stuff. And according to like what you're saying, that with jail
That was
time and stuff like
segregation.
that,
That was segregation, sir. That's not systemic racism.
that's a systemic
I get
that's
that, but
systemic
I don't
racism.
care. I don't care if I can't use a white bathroom, but I do care if I'm not, I'm the only Black person being hired because y'all filling a quota, or I get 10 years more for doing the same crime.
But why do we think that though? Why
Yeah, like
why do we
that's
think
a
that if we
myth.
get right? Why do we
That's
think?
not a
That's
myth.
captivity.
Hold on, Eric. Why do we think because we got hired and we fill in a quota instead of saying, "Hey, I went to college. I have a college degree. I crushed my interview. I'm coming in here. I'm looking the part, right? I'm handling my business and having the confidence of, hey, I'm going to walk in here and crush this opportunity." A lot of times in these systematic, a lot of times, because all of us have had a taste of corporate America on this phone call. Eric, you have a wealth of experience that me and Rez don't have. So I can't talk to you. I can't talk down to you when you've accomplished a lot more than us because of what you've been able to do in that field. So that's not where I'm coming from. But what I'm saying is we all have a taste of corporate America in this. A lot of times it's Black people don't do a great enough job of supporting each other in these spaces. It's not what a white person is doing to you. It's, hey, a Black person can walk into another room, another Black person being in there, another Black person walk away after they don't even see him. Don't talk to him. Don't put him on game. Don't do anything for him. And then white boy Johnny over here is like, oh my God, C-Mac, how you doing? Do this, do that. Take advantage of this. And white boy Johnny puts you on game, but freaking Jonte look at you and keep on walking.
Crab in a barrel mindset. Crab in a barrel mindset. I think that in this country right now, Black people are Black people's biggest enemies, and this is something that's known, but we completely look past it and we make excuses and we make, oh, systemic this, systemic that, or oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. When it's just not true. It's not true. There's so many people who have done it from different races, especially Black people who have been extremely successful in this country and have done wonderful things, and systemic racism is not what comes out their mouth. Like I tend to only hear it from certain type of people that are like believe in, you know what I mean, certain things, and it just doesn't add up when you really look at things and you really look at the numbers and you look at everything like combined, you know what I mean? You're not looking at it like, oh, like in a victim mindset almost. Like,
so it's not a victim mindset. It's understanding what you're up against and then how to overcome it. Okay, so now if you're a Black person in this country and you have no sense of your history or no sense of the past, you might come in and be like, oh yeah, the crackers did this to me and blah blah blah, and I'm just going to be a thug the rest of my life, blah blah blah. But if you have a sense of your history and you know that systemic racism exists, you know how to maneuver. You know that it's just that much important that you do get that job, Christian, and help that young brother that's coming in the door. It's that much more important. So you got to look at it from the reverse side. If you understand what systemic racism is, and systemic racism is only a symptom of white supremacy. White supremacy is the real problem. And white supremacy is something that is based off of fear. Fear that they know that if one of us has sex with one of their white women, it's going to be a brown baby that come out. That's the bottom line, period. So that's their fear. And that's where white supremacy comes in, and then systemic racism is a cousin of that. So if you understand that, and you know how to move, and you know your history, you know that Black history did not just start when enslaved Africans hit this country.
Right.
Black history started in Africa. Black started around the world. Okay, we was doing things. We was blacksmith and smelting steel 2,000 years before they did it in Europe. Okay. We ruled Spain for 700 years, the Black Moors. We cleaned all that shit up. When they was in the Dark Ages, sleeping with animals, having all kinds of diseases and shit, we came over there and cleaned that up. We gave them the alphabet. We gave them math. We gave them astronomy. Okay, so if you understand that and you say, okay, this is just the 400 years that we're suffering in this country is just a blip on the map. Okay, and another thing you need to know, all empires fall. This is nothing but an empire. The Romans fell, the Greeks fell, all these empires, the Egyptians fell. It's going to fall. Now there's a study that says by the time 2050 comes around, they're going to be the minority. That's why they're trying to get the Mexicans out of here. We're next. I
will say I appreciate everything that you said, Eric. No, all jokes aside, I love the breakdown. I love the history background. I think that's important for all of our viewers because we all have unique perspectives on this, right? And so you're really showing a perspective of just the understanding of how special Black people are by turning back the pages, looking from a historical standpoint. And I can't really disagree with a lot of things you say. What I will say, bouncing off your idea of it and making it more of a 2025 spin on it is, I don't think the majority of white people are racist. I really don't
either.
I think that if you look at any group of people, right, from a racial standpoint, from a gender standpoint, there are bad apples that ruin it for every group of people. Just like if there's a strong sense amongst women that, or a strong sense of women that they have fear maybe going out at night or doing different things in public spaces because there are men that have ruined it from kidnapping, being molesters, being rapists, all type of things, right? But you see how that now has tainted all men across all races, age groups, and all that. And so, same thing for white people. Unfortunately, beginning of the time in this country, majority of them were racist, and now, but we can't blame Johnny in 2025 based off of what James Washington was doing in 1803. You know what I'm saying? And we have to be able to understand that, man, America this is one of the few countries, maybe the only country in the world that you could come here and create generational wealth after one generation. You could come here, have nothing, and then create wealth in that generation if you focus, put your mind to something, come together and achieve. There's a wealth of opportunity
completely
here.
Impossible in any other country in this world.
Absolutely.
Completely impossible. This is the best country to live in. Like,
I agree. This 100%. Is the best
100%.
country. Two things can be true at the same time, though. I'm not saying all white people are racist. I'm not saying the majority of white people are racist. All I'm saying is they have an advantage. And the scenario that you gave, Christian, about Washington, George, whoever in the past made it so Johnny can have his apples now.
Right.
That's a true statement. Yes, he did what he did with the pen and the gun to give little Johnny his advantage today. We can't say that.
But we can't blame Johnny for that, though.
No, and who was blaming Johnny? But what we're telling Johnny is, Johnny, vote. Hey, when that cop kills that young black kid, don't point the finger at the black kid. See what's really going on. Like, you know what I mean? Like, give us some help. Help us out here. That's all I'm asking for. You see what I'm saying?
Support.
Support. Like, and don't turn a blind eye. You know it's wrong. You see what I'm saying? That's all I'm asking. That's now, fair. Little Johnny if little Johnny has a gun in his hand and he says he hates niggas, yes, he's a racist if he's going to use that gun. Because racism,
I hate niggas too, though.
No, but racism is nothing but power. It's nothing but power. If you got a bunch of little Johnnies who in their head, they have it in their head that they're not going to, let black people advance, now they are racist. Now, if they just don't like black people and they say, hey, I hate niggas too. I hate niggas. They're not racist because they're not holding us back in any way. Just their mindset. It's just a discrimination, or what do you call it? When people are afraid of other cultures and stuff like that. But as long as he's not doing anything to harm us, he's not a racist. Racism needs power in order to, oppress us.
Yeah. Go ahead, Rez.
I don't know. I think racism is a very strong word that is tossed around nowadays, and I think that you're tossing it around like a little bit more freely than what it is. And I think that a better word would be prejudice. Because like C-Mac was saying, I don't think that like as many white people are like as racist as a lot of black people like to think. And just going back to the whole like cop situation and stuff like that, I would just like to ask you, Eric, what do you think is like holding black people back the most in this country?
Holding us back the most in this country, our sense of our identity, of who we truly are. Because if we knew who we truly were and everyone believed that, it would be an astonishing event. We have to understand that we were not educated. We were not educated about who we were, where we came from. I mean, imagine if we held on to our cultures from Africa, like other races, other ethnic groups do.
But nowadays, my thing is though, like, see, there's a big issue back to the crab and the barrel mindset. And you mentioned something about the police, and it was like, I feel like black people are very quick to be like, oh, if white cop kills the black kid or this, that, and the third. But like, I think it's portrayed by the media that this happens a lot more than not. And I just wanted to inform you and just like ask you about like what you think about this, about the black men probably accommodate for about 6% of the population, but they also how do you say, they commit about like 50% of the crimes, of violent crimes in this country.
Man, get that shit. Look, I got no. Let me tell you something.
Hold on.
You getting into the bullshit right now? That's not bullshit. Who came up with this?
I come from a single parent. Hold on. I come from a single parent home. I grew up around this, like truly in the South Bronx. So, and I understand what this is like. Like the reason why there are single parent households is because of people going to jail, people doing life, then people dying and stuff like that. But a lot of the crime that happens, like violent crime, is committed against black people on black people. Black on black crime.
Well, black on black crime is not. It's a misnomer. It's an oxymoron, because if you are in a community and there's nothing but black people around you, if you are a criminal, you're going to commit crimes against other black people.
Yeah, most crimes throughout all races are interracial.
That's the definition of black on black crime.
But it's a stupid thing to say, because why don't we have white on white crime? Though. Why don't we say Hispanic on Hispanic crime? Why don't we say Asian on Asian crime?
Because it's not what's holding them back. That's why most violent crime that's committed within
black on black crime is not holding up. Crime is crime happens if you're in an impoverished neighborhood. Crime happens if you're impoverished because you're not educated. Right. You're not educated because you're hungry. You go to school, you don't feel like learning because you're hungry. The father's not in the home because what happened in the 50s and 60s, or in the 60s, you couldn't have a father in home because you couldn't receive welfare, so you had to kick the father out. So there were systemic things set in place. Redlining for housing, right? We can only live in certain parts of the country, certain ghettos. This is what systemic racism is. It's a system of events, system of things to hold us back. And that's where the crab in the bucket barrel is a perfect example. They know this. If they keep us impoverished, they keep us mad at each other, they keep us hungry, they keep us uneducated, we're going to commit a lot of crime if we're all together. We're going to rob each other, we're going to rape each other because we're angry.
But whose fault is that though? It's like almost like you're saying that it's their fault that one day we don't ever wake up and say, okay, we're not going to do this no more. We're not going to do this no more.
Rez, where if we go back in history, the things I'm just going to lay out for you. I'm going to lay out 244 years of slavery. Who did that to us?
There was about 1% of the population, so white people, but a very small percentage of white people owned slaves. Not that like it wasn't like
the system of chattel slavery was instituted by whom?
By white people, but like what you're saying is though, like as if 75% of the white people who existed
it's not
at
about
that time,
percentages. It's not about percentages. You're trying
you're
trying to no, it's not. You have to look at what happened. Chattel slavery was set in place not only in the United States but in the Caribbean, all across the West. And what they did sugar cane in the Caribbean. Here it was cotton. Okay, a lot of that was the Portuguese coming down after. Okay, so here's a little bit of history. After we were in Spain for 700 years, and if you know something about the Spanish Inquisition, they kicked us out. Right? They didn't want black people in there cleaning up everything. They sent Christopher Columbus in 1492 to discover America. That's when the Portuguese came down on the west side of Africa, trading for slaves. Now the chiefs of those villages did not know that they were trading, because again, if a village in Africa, if they go to war, they capture those warriors and they become a part of that society. They're not chattel slaves. They're not enslaved people for life. The Portuguese came down. Hey, give me some of those slaves. I'll give you some rum. I'll give you some guns for your next fight. They took them over there to the Americas and they enslaved us for life. They made us work for free. That's where it starts.
For hundreds of years. At what point?
244 years. 244 years.
Exactly.
So hold on. And then after we were emancipated,
accountability here.
After we were emancipated, I'm just giving you a lesson, a history lesson. It's not about I take accountability. My kids are good. I'm good. My baby's good. Christian's good. You good.
I know,
but that's taking accountability. That's saying that I'm not going to be angry about this shit and just be like, oh, I'm going to go out and kill and rob and just be angry at the world. I'm just telling you, I understand what happened. I understand where it comes from, and that gives me a sense of pride about myself. I love being black. You see what I'm saying? This has nothing to do with the white man. The white man does not control me. You see what I'm saying?
But you're saying he controls us, though. So the
no, he controls the systems that are in place to keep him above us. Because if we lay down with white women, there's going to be brown babies. Period. And he don't want that.
I think that's just false. I think.
Oh my God. So so let me go back to the history lesson.
I think light-skinned kids are not the priority of white
244
people.
years of slavery, 100 years of Jim Crow, and then we are at current, the systemic racism that is going on. The crime bills, the crack epidemic in the 80s. You see what I'm saying? The shit Trump's doing right now, the ICE raids. You see what I'm saying? This is not happening in the white community. This is not happening to white people. Okay, so that's where we're at now. That's 400 years of oppression. Now you tell me who is orchestrating all that. You don't have to say white people. You can just say people in power.
This is where I step in. I definitely it's a white system that we're living under, a white umbrella in layman's terms, right? 100%. What I'm saying is, and this will be the last statement I make because we're running over time. You said it perfectly. Two things can be true at once. This is a phenomenal country to live in, and there's also different levels of oppression that we have to go through as a minority. 100% because we're not in power, right? If they make up 65 to 75% of the population, of course, people are going to fraternize by nature. We're going to do the most for the people that we know. So it's a numbers game. And to Rez's point, percentages on a lot of things do matter because if it was 75% black in this society, white people probably feel oppressed too, because we're going to look out for each other first in our own communities. A lot of times are opportunities before we go and outsource anything else off of just comfortability, I would say. But I would say too, when black people say, I don't want to live in America, where the hell are you going to go? Because if you go over to the EU, right? The EU is openly racist. Those countries are even more racist, right? And not even as progressive. Even some of these women that say I don't want to be here. Where the heck we can go? You can go to Northern Africa or some of these other countries where you don't even have a voice. A lot of these African countries that you're thinking about going to as a woman, what you say and do in America, you don't do over there. Right. Their culture is different.
Let you go. They can kill you over
go
there.
ahead and twerk on public. You're gonna get your ass stoned.
Right.
It's countries where you can't even show your face. So this country allows people to really kind of do what they want to do on an individual basis to a certain extent. To your point, Eric, and that's all I'm saying. And Eric, since you are the older person on the podcast, I get a last word. Give you 30 seconds of how you feeling, and we're gonna get up out of here.
30. Okay, so again, it's not about should we want to live here or should we live here. It's what's really the big question or the big thing is we have choices. You see what I'm saying? By understanding who we are, getting our shit together, we have a choice to be here or not. You see what I'm saying? And if we really want to be here, we just got to know what we're dealing with. Right. And if we go to somewhere else, hey, that's going to be, it may be less or it may be more, but we have options.
Right. I lied. Rez, you are the co-executive producer. You have the last word.
I think that we need to just do better. I think we need to leave the victim mindset in the past. I think that we have all the opportunity in the world. I don't think there's anything on paper that an Asian man, a white man, a Spanish man can do that I can't do. I'm currently living a life where I chase my dreams, and I see a bunch of my brothers do that, but I also have a bunch of brothers who don't make that choice and make the choice to partake in things that I don't understand and that I don't like. So I see everything on the spectrum. I've been able to accomplish a lot up to this point, and I plan on accomplishing a lot more. But yes, I just wish that us as a people, we can stop having a victim mindset, stop hating on each other, and do better because we have all the opportunity in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hey, if you made it to the end of this video, thank you. You watched 27 minutes of just fire content. We appreciate Eric coming on. Solid dude. We appreciate Rez, all the work he continues to do for our podcast. If you tuned in to episode 45, we had to sit down mama for episode because we don't want her to get fired. She went absolutely ballistic. So if you haven't watched episode 45, that is still the premiere episode of this podcast. It's absolutely crazy. But we gone. Bye.
Bye.